Yo, what up? Prince Sports here. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and all that other good stuff. All right, it's official. The NBA has finalized the season to return July 30th. So there's no more what if the season get canceled? Is it this? It doesn't matter how much players get coronavirus. The NBA season is returning. No buts, ifs about it. So basically, we've been on record lately talking about players that got coronavirus. There's been 16 players out of the, I guess, 300 plus players that's supposed to be playing in this upcoming season to be scheduled to return. So out of all those players, 16 of them are coronavirus positive. But I mean, if they quarantine themselves for about 2 weeks or so, they'd be eligible to come back to play basketball as well. So at this moment, being tested positive is not really that much of a big effect because the season doesn't return into another month, basically a month from now. July 30th, it's like the end of the month. So basically, it's like, let's just round it off to another month. So with that being said, Paul George is one of the players that's excited and ready to come back to play. According to Paul George, he wants to win a chip this season. He said out the gate, him and Kawhi have been favorites to win the championship. He's right, but I think to a certain extent, their value been a little lowered for some reason. I don't know why, but the Lakers beat the Clippers one time before the season, ended and went on this little break. And all of a sudden, the Lakers just boosted themselves up to title favorites. But now I think the Lakers' title favorites' chances have gone down because you don't know how many guys from that Laker team will be missing. And I'm pretty sure everybody from that Clippers roster will return and ready to play basketball, man. Now, can Paul George win a championship this season? Now, he's had a narrative around him that's not so good. The narrative around Paul George is that he can't get the job done playoff time. But here's the difference. He's not going to be relied on to be the number one this time around. Now he's going to be considered to be the number two. And I think he'll be a perfect complement player for Kawhi Leonard being the number one. This Clippers team is no joke, man. They're a deep basketball team. And unlike certain teams in the NBA, they don't need practice and gelling with each other that much because they're dogs. They're defensive-minded basketball players. So they let their defense do a lot of their talking, and it just leads to offense. So you know the old saying, defense wins championships, right? So if that's the case, the Clippers are well on their way to being NBA champions. Now, if the Clippers win the championship, we'll have an asterisk next to it. Some of you will say that, but I'm guessing a lot of people who say that will change their mind when the season starts. When that ball is tossed up and it's being competitive and you're playing, it's just like being in the park. All the other stuff get thrown out the window. It's just you and him, and it's just about win or lose. You could put me on the basketball court right now, and I could sit there and say this, that, but once that ball is tossed up and we're playing, then we're playing for keeps. And it's going to have some players missed out, but I look at it this way. If there's no all-star players missing, no superstar players missing, and all teams had 2 all-stars and role players anyway, so I think it's even Steven. I mean, I'm leaning towards the Clippers are winning the championship this year. I haven't heard no reports of nobody's missing. I heard Lou Williams was on the fence, but he was clout chasing with Kyrie Irving, and you could see that he'll be back playing basketball pretty soon because he off that racial equality stuff. Now it jumps on to coronavirus. This is why I say guys like that you can't trust. Being either you're in or you're out. You can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. So if you're down for racial equality and all this other stuff, then you got to be with it to the end. You can't just jump on it because there's a hot topic to talk about, then bounce. So I think he's wrong on that part. But Paul George, man, he definitely got what it takes to lead his team as a second to a championship. And him and Kawhi Leonard could be like a reincarnated version or a lower tier version of Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan. You can make an argument. Paul George offensively is better than Scottie Pippen. That's for sure. Now, he's a better three-point shooter. He's better taking guys off the dribble and all that other stuff. I mean, he's a great offensive player. Defensive-wise, I would give the edge to Scottie Pippen. But if I'm taking the two guys, because Paul George's defense isn't that suspect. He's a great defender. He's just not the defender that Scottie Pippen was. But if I'm going to take a pick between those two guys, I'm going with Paul George for the simple fact that he could play defense, and offensively, he's not as limited as Scottie Pippen was. So I'm definitely going with a two-way player like Paul George. I definitely see the Clippers winning the championship this year, man. That's the team that I picked from the beginning of the season, and that's the team I'm going to pick before that, when the season ends. So, I mean, what do you think? Do you think Paul George is the missing piece for the Clippers to win the championship? Is he the glue that puts the puzzle back together? Is he the missing ingredient? I mean, whatever you want to call it. What do you think Paul George is to the Los Angeles Clippers, and what do you think his value is to winning the championship this year? I say it's greatly. And both of those two guys playing at the top of their game, I think they'll have enough what it takes to beat any team in the NBA and win a championship this season. So, Prince Sports out. Keep it 3,000. Peace.